Photographers have stopped taking photos and become digital artists. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside, coming to the end of it actually. We're going to need some more. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a photo day. Today we're going to be talking about photographers and how many have been switching over from actually taking photos to manipulating photos through AI. And I was reading an article over on Petapixel, and it had to do with AI, and the Copyright Office finally has made a determination. And the question was, is this human authorship when you create an image through one of these AI platforms like Playground or Midjourney or whatever, your platform of choice? Is this human authorship? And they've basically said no. And in my opinion, this is less about the actual copyright and more about photography in general. Where is photography going, and where is it going to be in the next 5 years? Will there be photographers, or will there be more of photo artists? So I want your thoughts on this down in the comment area below. Put those thoughts. Let's have this discussion. I'll give you my thoughts at the end of this article I'm going to read to you. But I think that this is very interesting, and it will determine where we go as photographers, videographers. Where are we going to be in 5 or 10 years? Anyways, guys, before I get into it, I want to say that if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks as of yet, go check them out. They are free. Go over to JCristina.com/books. Also, if you enjoy this content even in the least, throw it a thumbs up. That would be very helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and then click this little button over there, and then click all, so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. Finally, if you have not joined the JCristina Creative Discord server, go check it out. I put together a Discord server just for us to have conversations outside of YouTube. So go to community.jcristina.com. Once again, community.jcristina.com. I'll tell you more about that in just a minute. So anyways, let's get right into this article from Petapixel. I think this is fascinating. Like I said, I think this rabbit hole goes even deeper than as deep as they've taken it already. It starts out by saying the U.S. Copyright Office has warned that an image generated solely from a text prompt does not qualify for human authorship in fresh guidance released yesterday. The Copyright Office likened text prompts to, quote, instructions to a commissioned artist, essentially comparing them to a magazine editor hiring a photographer. So basically, it's just like me giving an instruction to someone that I paid to create something. This is the way they are viewing it. However, the office did not rule out recognizing copyright for AI in all cases. The Copyright Office writes, quote, an artist may modify material originally generated by AI technology to such a degree that the modifications meet the standard for copyright protection. This will pique the interest of photographers who have been using AI image generators to create realistic-looking photos and then improving upon them in programs like Adobe Photoshop. Photographers like Tim Tatter have fallen in love with AI imagery, and the commercial shooter is now exclusively posting eye-popping photos on his Instagram feed that came out of a synthesizer like Midjourney instead of his camera. The Copyright Office says it will apply its human authorship requirements on a case-by-case inquiry. Quote, in the case of works containing AI-generated material, the office will consider whether the AI contributions are the result of mechanical reproduction or instead of the author's original mental concept to which the author gave visible form. Interesting how they twist this, right? Very interesting. Quote, the answer will depend on the circumstance, particularly how the AI tool operates and how it was used to create the final work. And this is, I think, one of the major points here is we're not going to use the AI to create final works. At least we shouldn't. They should be manipulated, right? They should be compositions. And I'm going to get into that in just a second. Now, the article continues. The rise of AI image generators has given birth to a new strand of photography. Images that look like real photos, but actually started their life with text prompts. Petapixel reported on 2 instances last month of Instagram pages posing as real photographers when they were in fact posting AI images, albeit ones that have been edited after being downloaded from Midjourney. Jose Avery freely admits his guilt after building a large Instagram audience by posting extremely believable portraits of people that don't exist. While initially disguising the fact his images were AI, he is now more open about the process. Explaining his workflow in a recent post, he says, quote, "I come up with an idea. I try to prompt to attempt to capture the idea. Nearly always the AI is not initially getting what I am wanting, so I tweak the prompt. After generating, I'll have a pool of images to go through. I'll enlarge images, spot more defects, and pick the best of the best for realism and aesthetic. Then I edit. There is too much to describe here, but I hand composite 5 or 10 or even more using Photoshop. I digitally draw portions and I use Lightroom for final tweaks. Clearly, Avery is putting a lot of work into his creations, and it would be fascinating to see what the Copyright Office would make of an attempt to get such images legally protected." So I think that that's a good question, but to me, I think the question here is, where are we going with this? We have someone like Avery that created an Instagram account and posted a ton of pictures and finally got caught that these pictures were not photos. They were actually composites. And that is the point here, all right? I think that once you take an AI image, and as he says he's doing, taking 5, 10, or even more, compositing them together in Photoshop, and then hand drawing on that, and then tweaking them in Lightroom, the time you're done, you end up with photo art. You no longer end up with a photo, and you definitely no longer end up with an AI-generated image. Because once again, he's taking 5 or 10 of them and compositing them together. That composition is truly this person's artwork. Period. End of story. We were compositing photographs way before there was computers in the darkroom. Compositions are compositions. You're taking multiple things, and not only is he compositing these things together, as he's saying, he's hand drawing on some of them, fixing things. Now, as I do, I always dig a little bit deeper. So when I saw this story, I said, you know what? I'm going to dig into Midjourney a little bit. I'm going to head over to Playground. I'm going to go and check them out. I'm going to check out a whole bunch of these AI generators, right? To see what I can come up with. And I can tell you that if you're not an expert at nouns and adjectives and putting in your prompts and then putting in your, let's call them D prompts, things that you don't want in the image, guys, you will end up with a damn mess, right? The things just are, it's horrendous, okay? Because remember, it's trying to figure out what you want. And if you're not explicit, you end up with just craziness. Let me show you. This image right here was from Playground. I put this image together because, of course, I absolutely love Harlequin. I love the character. So I said, you know what? Let's see what we can make. And as you can see here, there's like problems with the face. This eyeball here is bigger than this one. You can see this. It's just absolutely not perfect. But can I go into Photoshop and fix this? Yes, I can. Me being an artist, when I look at this, I could paint this myself in less time than it took me to actually figure out the prompts to be able to create it. I promise you. So while there's certain things that you can do with this, it's not going to give you something that's absolutely perfect every time. It's just not. You will spend hours and hours and hours on these prompts and trying to fix it and this and that. It's just that. To me, it's a headache. Now, what is the benefit of this? I think that if you are creative and you have this vision of a cat and a dog on a desert, and then you wanted to swap their heads and have the dog with a cat head and the cat with the dog head, you could do this, right? Instead of you having to draw it, you can have AI create it for you, and then you can manipulate it after the fact. So I think that it's great for conceptual work, but for final work, it is a long way from being what I think is fantastic. Now, I did find something that I thought was pretty damn good. Now, can you create really good images? Yes. Like I found this. Check this out. Now, this looks, I think, exceptional. This is done really, really well. There's not multiple arms and multiple heads and all kinds of other problems. It is done really well. But the amount of prompts, look at the amount of prompts in here. You see this? This is a list of prompts, and then this is a list of prompts to be removed. Look at all that. That is what was required to be able to create this image in AI. So it is a lot, guys, all right? It is not easy, and you really need to get in there and dig deep before you can create anything. And if you're going to be using things like Midjourney, you're going to pay, all right? Matter of fact, let me pull up some pricing here. So Midjourney comes in at $8 per month, or $24 a month, or $48 a month. You have a basic plan, a standard plan, and a pro plan. So this stuff isn't free. And the plans determine how many hours of GPU usage you get per month. And once those hours are used up, you can buy more hours for I think it's like $4 an hour or something. It gets to be expensive. You're going to be doing this all the time. And I can tell you, to do this, you need to really pump through a lot of images before you get the right one. I mean, it's not cheap, all right? It takes a while to be able to get it. Now, coming full circle, my question here is this. Where is photography going? Where are we going in the next 5 or 10 years, okay? Is there going to be as many photographers as photo artists? The problem that I see is if there is less and less photographers that are actually taking the real photos, where are these AI programs going to get the material to use to build these composites, let's call them? All right? There's a finite amount of photos. And when there's less and less photographers taking photographs or taking less photographs and using AI to generate the majority of their work, we're going to have a reduction, no matter how you look at it. Also, where are photographers going to be in that food chain? Is the AI going to be more valuable than the photographer themselves? Because through AI, you can produce stuff that the photographer just can't, or the cost to produce these scenes would be so great, it just wouldn't be feasible. Where do we sit? Are photographers going to be less and less sought after? Basically, like what happened with the smartphone. Photographers became less and less valued because people were taking more and more pictures with their smartphone, and to them, the photographs were good enough. Are they? Go print one of your iPhone photos that you took in low light at 8x10 size and see what you get. Anyways, guys, I want to know what you think about this. Number one, what do you think about the copyright? What do you think about people creating composites out of AI? When they are composited 5, 10, or even more, and then hand drawn on, at that point, is it now that artists, no longer photographer, photo artists' work? Can that be copyrighted? I personally think yes. Also, where do you think photography and videography will be going in the future? Photo, but also video. When we're talking about TV and movies, will there be less and less actors and more AI? There's a lot of really good CGI movies out there that don't really need warm bodies anymore. I'm just saying. Anyways, what are your thoughts? Down below, let's have this discussion. If you enjoyed this, even at least, throw it a thumbs up. That would be awesome. Subscribe to the channel, click this button, all of those things. If you want to say thank you for my hard work, as always, down below, there's a thank you button. Thank you, YouTube, for giving that to us. Click that button if you would like to give $1 or $2. If not, that's fine too. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. That would help support the channel greatly. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. That's it, guys. I'm out of here for another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Love you all.